Okay, good morning, everybody. And today I'll be talking about something important in the Philippines, which is tsunami disaster management. And as an archipelagic country, we are vulnerable to tsunamis. 66% of our provinces are coastal provinces and are therefore at risk to tsunamis, but through effective monitoring, early warning, preparedness, response, and perhaps the impact-based forecasting, we can minimize casualties and damages. My presentation will cover the role of PHIVOLCS in tsunami risk mitigation, the tools that we are using, and what we are doing to help communities prepare for tsunamis. Tsunamis are natural hazards. You've seen that earlier with the presentations of Ms. Laura Kong and, of course, Dr. Al. And we all know that, but disasters can happen when we are unprepared. Okay, so before anything else, I'll introduce our office first, which is PHIVOLCS. PHIVOLCS stands for Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. And PHIVOLCS is an agency under the Department of Science and Technology, tasked with mitigating disasters caused by earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and other geotectonic hazards. So basically, our work involves hazard assessment. We also do monitoring, early warning, and disaster risk reduction activities. And now that we are acquainted with what PHIVOLCS is doing, let's discuss the fundamental actions needed to reduce tsunami risks. Okay, so to effectively reduce disaster risks, we follow the four key principles. First, know the hazards and risks. Second, monitor. Third, warning and disseminating information. And the last would be responding properly and timely. So if you are familiar with the art of war in Sun Tzu, it says that if you know your enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. So in our case, our enemy are the risk. So the first step is knowing the hazards and also knowing the risks. So this includes understanding the tsunamis, understanding that tsunamis can be triggered by underwater earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, submarine landslides, or even very rarely meteorite impacts. And hazards and risk assessments help identify tsunami-prone areas. It also helps us study past events and map vulnerable coastal zones, ensuring that communities are aware of inundation zones, evacuation routes, as well as the nearest high ground. But knowing the risk, which is the first key, is not enough. That is why we must monitor potential tsunami-generating events using seismic networks, tide gauges, and sensors. Now, near-field tsunamis are which form close to the shore pose a major challenge because it would only take, in the case of the Philippines, during the 1976 tsunami-genic earthquake, it only took 5 minutes after the main shock before the tsunami waves arrived. So this is very important, and it would, that's the reason why in the Philippines we're advocating that a coastal community should know the natural signs of an impending tsunami, because we have no more time to warn if it would only take 5 minutes for the tsunami waves to arrive. However, again, monitoring alone is not enough. If a tsunami threat is detected, we must warn and inform people immediately. So again, using the principles of Sun Tzu, speed is the essence of war. Warnings must be issued quickly and effectively through sirens, text alerts, radio broadcasts, and other communication channels, as even a few minutes of early warning can save lives. But again, warnings are only useful if people know how to act, making response and resilience the final and most important step. So in the face of tsunamis, applying these four principles, know the hazards and risks, monitoring, warning and disseminating information, and responding properly and timely can mean the difference between survival and disaster. Okay, so again, let's go back to the first step, which is assessing hazards and vulnerabilities. So by identifying which areas are at risk, we can develop more effective risk reduction strategies. And in the Philippines, tsunamis are primarily triggered by large offshore earthquakes along active faults and subduction zones. So in the Philippines, we have more than 175 active fault segments. We also have many offshore active faults, and we have 6 trenches that are capable on both sides of the Philippines that are capable of generating magnitude 8 and above earthquakes. So again, the whole, the eastern and western side of the Philippines are prone to tsunamis. Okay, so, and again, utilizing the first key action of disaster management, which is knowing hazards and risks, FIVOX has identified coastal prone areas prone to tsunamis, categorized based on the source. We have trends-related local and distant tsunamis. We also have trends-related local tsunamis and offshore faults and submarine landslide-induced tsunamis. And since 1589 to 2012, the Philippines has experienced at least 41 tsunami-genic events, highlighting the persistent threats. So our coastal communities, especially those along the subduction zones, like the Manila Trench and the Philippine Trench, are highly vulnerable. Okay, so now let's talk about one of the most devastating tsunamis that hit the Philippines, the 1976 Moro Gulf earthquake and tsunami. So it happened past midnight on August 17, 1976, when a massive magnitude 8.1 earthquake struck the Moro Gulf, which is again on the southern part of the Philippines. So the earthquake occurred at a shallow depth of less than 33 kilometers. And just 2 to 5 minutes after the main shock, the first tsunami waves hit. But it wasn't just one wave. There were accounts that say that around 3 to 7 waves hitting every 1 to 5 minutes. And some of these waves reached 9 meters or around 30 feet high. And as a result of that event, around 8,000 people died. So it was one of the deadliest tsunamis in the Philippines. Okay, so again, as the mandated agency, and again, employing the first key action of disaster management, FIVOX has developed tsunami hazard maps to assist local governments and communities in risk reduction. And these maps would help identify areas at risk and also being used to guide evacuation planning. Okay, and we've also quantified the population and land areas prone to tsunamis in the Philippines, and including the National Capital Region, but we're also doing this in all other parts of the country as well. So, for example, here, this is in the National Capital Region, where we have sex-aggregated data of the population at risk of tsunamis. But beyond knowing this information, we also need to detect and monitor tsunamis in real time. So that's the reason why, again, we go back to our key actions for disaster risk reduction, effective real-time monitoring, and timely warnings. So now let's explore how FIVOX tracks earthquakes and earthquake-generated tsunamis, and how the office provides early tsunami alerts. So to detect earthquakes that could generate tsunamis, FIVOX operates 122 seismic stations, which would include 92 satellite telemetry stations, 30 manually operated seismic stations. We also have 6 volcano seismic stations. So basically, this system helps determine whether an earthquake is strong enough to cause a tsunami. But again, how do we confirm if a tsunami has been generated? Okay, so FIVOX operates real-time tide stations, but admittedly, more stations are still needed to enhance tsunami detection. These stations confirm if a tsunami has formed, and our office tracks its movement, allowing for more accurate warnings. So aside from monitoring, we also use advanced tools to assess tsunami impacts by developing several tools to improve tsunami risk assessment. So one of these is REDAS, or Rapid Earthquake Disaster Assessment System. This is a Filipino-made software that simulates tsunami scenarios, compute for tsunami impacts, and plots evacuation routes. We've also developed Hazard Hunter PH and GeoAnalytics PH. These are online platforms that can be used for assessing tsunami hazards in specific locations. And now to further improve risk assessments, we also maintain a comprehensive tsunami scenario database. So our database includes over 30,000 tsunami scenarios, considering different magnitudes, considering different depths and different fault parameters. So these simulations help refine hazard mapping and evacuation planning. Now, as I mentioned earlier, PHIVOLCS maintains a tsunami database. Again, we have more than 30,000 models, conducts real-time monitoring using Swift CMT, and collaborates with JICA for sea level monitoring. Our early warning system also integrates real-time earthquake detection and tsunami simulation. But early warnings are only effective if they reach the right people in time. So we have deployed 90 community tsunami alerting stations to provide localized warnings in high-risk areas. But beyond technology, international collaboration also plays an important role in tsunami warnings. So PHIVOLCS works with Pacific Tsunami Warning Center and the Northwest Pacific Tsunami Advisory Center, and we're also part of the South China Sea Tsunami Warning Center. These partnerships enhance global and regional early warning efforts. However, preparedness at the local level remains very important. That is why we also focus on education, awareness, and preparedness campaigns to ensure that communities know what to do before, during, and after a tsunami. So we provide various materials like print, digital, and video resources, along with other activities such as seminars, drills, and media programs to help spread critical information, as we know that these efforts will strengthen communities and it will also strengthen the local community's resilience and readiness. Okay, so as we know that effective tsunami response starts at the community level, so we help communities install tsunami alerting systems in high-risk coastal areas. We also train residents on evacuation procedures. We coordinate with local disaster officials to strengthen local tsunami response. So on the national scale, PHIVOLCS collaborates with multi-agency partners, which will bring us to our last key action for disaster risk reduction, which is to respond properly and timely. So to improve national tsunami response efforts, PHIVOLCS conducts multi-agency consultations to align tsunami disaster risk reduction efforts. We also conduct policy discussions on evacuation and early warning systems. We have training programs to educate our stakeholders, and basically the goal is to create a unified tsunami response strategy. We also participate in the intergovernmental tsunami risk reduction, hazard warning, and mitigation strategies at the international level. The Philippines, as part of this system, aligns its tsunami programs with global standards to ensure that our warning and response systems remain up to date and effective. PHIVOLCS is also working with the Office of the Civil Defense, I hope they're here, towards tsunami-ready status in high-risk coastal communities. And as mentioned earlier, PHIVOLCS produces educational materials, conducts seminars and drills, and partners with media to reach more people. We also observe the World Tsunami Awareness Day, or WTAD, every 5th of November. We've been doing this since 2016. And even during the pandemic, when our mobility was restricted, we still observed the WTAD by conducting online seminars. And it was also during the pandemic when we sponsored, because we cannot go out and do the WTAD activities. So we sponsored online poster making contests for elementary and high school students. And last year, as part of, again, of our World Tsunami Awareness Day activity, we had a tsunami run, which marked the 100 years since the 1924 magnitude 8.3 earthquake, Mati earthquake, again in the southern Philippines. More than 1,600 runners participated in this tsunami run for safety. Again, it was conducted in Mindanao, in the southern part of the Philippines. And now, as a way forward, our priorities would include developing a harmonized national tsunami-ready program by establishing a coherent national framework to ensure that all communities follow standardized protocols for tsunami preparedness. We would also like to establish the National Tsunami Ready Board of the Philippines together with the Office of the Civil Defense, which will oversee tsunami preparedness initiatives, improving tsunami science and technology adoption by encouraging the use of advanced tsunami detection system, such as deep sea sensors, tsunami buoys, and real-time data sharing platforms, and leveraging indigenous knowledge for risk reduction. Many coastal communities have traditional knowledge and oral histories and cultural practices that would provide valuable insights into tsunami hazards. And we will continue capacitating our local government units and communities to ensure resilience against tsunami threats by, again, conducting trainings, drills, and capacity building programs as a whole of society approach is necessary for effective tsunami disaster management. Okay, so tsunami preparedness is a shared responsibility. PHIVOLCS remains committed to advancing tsunami disaster management through science, innovation, and community engagement. Thank you very much.